Oh, look at the time. It's time for everybody's favourite Saturday events. The show within the show.
Oh, yeah.
It is the Pop In with Leah.
It is.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. You're coming in hot this afternoon.
That's the only way to be, my friend.
All right. That's good. Listen, it's great that you're here, hanging out with us for the next hour on V180. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, gee. How to choose. Well, I've been seeing some interesting, movies lately.
Back to the movies we go?
Yes.
Okay, there's a big movie that's just been released, Sound of Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
I am.
All right, this is good. Now, before we get into it, we're going to get into some more music, but I also want you to write down this. The Pop In with Leah, Saturdays, circle it in the calendar, put an alarm on, 4 p.m. in the West, 5:30 in the Central, 6 p.m. in the East is when it happens for an hour. Don't forget the Pop In. We're going to be back after a Stella Kirk, Someone I'm Not, V180. It's the Pop In, Leah and DJ here. And we're going to be talking movies.
Yes.
You've been to the movies?
I have.
I went to the movies.
You did.
And we both saw the same thing.
We did. The Sound of Freedom.
Oh, okay. Now, this is the one that's been getting a lot of hype.
Oh, yeah.
It came out in July in the US. It's broken all sorts of box office records over there for such a small independent film.
Yeah.
Finally, it's landed here in Australia. So why don't we have a little listen to the trailer?
How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom.
Felt good.
You have been at this for 12 years.
My country 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Sweet land of liberty.
Because God's children are not for sale. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
For Homeland Security, we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces.
And where my fathers died.
And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
Land of the Pilgrim's
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead.
It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
South of that river is all rebel territory. No one goes in.
What if this was your daughter?
So, she's gone.
Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
Sound of Freedom is one of those films that can legitimately change this world. So we want to ignite a fire in audiences and open their eyes to the dark reality of millions of children that need our help. Let's make this film a historic event and the start, the end of child trafficking. Theaters across this country are already selling out. Pre-order your tickets today and you can send the message that God's children are no longer for sale.
Very dramatic there from Angel Studios, the people behind The Chosen, and a lot of other great programming there. They finally got this film out. It's been stuck in sort of like post-production nightmare land for the last like 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
And finally it's come out. So overall, I mean, a lot of people know all about it. It's not for the faint of heart. It's pretty full on.
Yeah.
Overall feeling, what do you think?
Look, it was not as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
I mean, like considering the subject matter of the movie.
Yes.
I was expecting it to be a lot worse, or not a lot worse, but a lot more
Graphic.
intense.
Yeah.
But I think they portrayed it beautifully and respectfully.
Yes.
But also in a way that it still got its message across.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very well done.
Was there a tissue box out at any moment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Did you go with anyone to the cinemas?
I went with my mum.
Oh.
She was she was adamant. She was like, I'm going to go watch it.
Okay.
So we went together.
And how did our very own Lady Di fare at the movies?
She cried as well.
Okay.
Honestly, and it was so cute at the end when it finished. She was like, she even started a big clap.
Oh, wow.
And everyone clapped as well. She was like,
geez.
I had to
good.
start it. It was very cute.
Okay, well, let's take another break. We'll come into more of the details about The Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel. It's in cinemas still now. We'll break it down a little bit further with you, but let's get into some more music. This is United. Say the word. You're on the Pop-In. Lightly familiar. It's DJ and Leah here for the Pop-In. That's right. It's your show within a show on a Saturday, hanging out with us here at V180. And we're getting a little bit serious today. We're talking about the film The Sound of Freedom.
Yes.
You went and saw it with your mama?
I did.
At the cinemas. It's out in the cinemas right now. And this is a film that's had so much attention around it.
Yeah.
For both good and bad. The Sound of Freedom. It's by director, I'm going to see if I can get his name right here, Alejandro Monteverde.
Beautiful.
You just got to say it with confidence.
You do.
Alejandro. Now, he's only made a few films before. He's got a couple in pre-production right now. Known for the film Little Boy that he made, a few years ago. And then this one, Sound of Freedom, I think it was filmed something like in 2020, 2019.
Yeah.
And they've been sitting around wondering what they're going to do with it, how they're going to finish it off. And it wasn't until Angel Studios stepped in with it. It's now it's starring Jim Caviezel. We know Jim Caviezel as Jesus from The Passion.
Yep.
A massive film. And again, you think of The Passion, you think of Mel Gibson.
Yep.
Mel Gibson's one of the executive producers of this film, one of the people behind it.
Yes.
And it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
Or based on some true stories there of a guy, Tim, I've forgotten his last name.
Ballard?
Yeah, Tim Ballard. Thank you,
Yeah.
Tim Ballard. And it's a very interesting that he's been around the traps for a while, telling these absolutely wild stories of him and these ex-Navy SEALs and ex-Army officers and stuff going into different areas around the world, and saving these children from the sex industry, from child slavery, all these different things. Something that you hear people talk about. People talk about it in a way which keeps it all very much cold at a distance. But a film like this wants to bring it a little bit more in your face, and go, no, this is really happening. People are really out there doing this, and you can step in and stop this. So I felt, look, it wasn't, overall, it's a great film. It's worth seeing.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it a masterpiece of cinema making? Maybe not. Like, it's not a movie that I want to see again.
No. Well, I mean, I'm going to see it again.
Okay.
Not because I'm burning to see it,
Yes.
but because I'm going with people that haven't.
Okay.
I think if it had a bigger budget,
Yes.
it probably could have had much more of a big Hollywood feel. But I've heard whispers that it was a bit of a controversial topic.
Yeah, exactly.
in Hollywood. So
and they wanted to stay away from it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you look, for the budget that they've used and what they've done with it, it's an amazing film.
Oh yeah.
It is, it's a smaller cast. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you.
Same. I was expecting to be like mad triggered, to be like fetal position rocking, but it was not. For me, it was not that bad.
No.
But as I said before, I think considering what the movie is about,
Yes.
it was portrayed quite respectfully, actually.
yeah.
But still, it didn't take away from the emotional depth of
It is one for older I would say older teens,
Yeah.
teens and up,
Oh, yeah.
maybe 14, 15, 16.
Oh yeah, don't take your kids.
No, it's not for kids.
No
It's
way.
not for little kids.
Oh no.
And again, we're saying that not because there's something graphic that you see or anything like that. It's just the subject matter is right there in your face all the time.
It is, yeah. It's an intense topic for any conversation.
Yeah.
And I imagine to try and explain that to a child, a little bit tricky.
Yeah, unless you're willing to have that conversation and have those starters there. All right, we'll get our final thoughts around the film in just a moment. We've got a God Spot with Andy Kirk coming up, but first, here's Richland. Montel Jordan knocked it out. My Goliath V180. Sean B center stage. You're on V180. DJ and Leah the pop in. We're talking Sound of Freedom, the brand new film coming out from the minds of Mel Gibson and the acting chops of Jim Caviezel.
Oh yeah.
It is the incredible true story of a former government agent turned vigilante who embarks on a dangerous mission to rescue hundreds of children from sex traffickers. And it is rated, I think it's rated PG or M over here.
I think honestly probably like M.
Yeah, I would say it's around about an M. Now,
At least.
as we wrap it up, look, we recommend this film. Both of us recommending. It's getting a 7.8 out of 10.
Wow.
On IMDb.
Okay.
And I think that's about
That's
right.
Yeah, it's pretty on point.
Yeah, I would give it about a 7.5, out of 10, somewhere like around about that.
Yeah.
What didn't work for you? If we're getting put our little critic hats on, was there stuff in there that didn't work for you?
I think coming back to the obvious fact that it wasn't a big budget movie.
Yes.
I
Yep.
think, and that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I think that there was some parts of the story I would have liked to delve into a little bit more.
I'll throw in one there. It alluded to his family quite often.
Yeah.
And we saw shots of his wife and
Yeah.
things like that. And I'm like, she's not given anything to do. Like she
No.
has like about one line, and she makes some pretty crucial decisions for him.
Mm-hmm.
Who is she and why, other than
Yeah.
being the wife and the mother of all these kids, why is she? There was a little bit of the family home I wish I saw a little bit more into.
Yeah. I think I would have liked to have seen that as well, purely because I feel like you could understand it a little bit deeper
Yes.
as to why he was so invested in saving these children and all that sort of stuff. But
Yep.
but really, that would have been about it for me personally. Yeah.
A little bit of the story. I think the story could have been fleshed out a little bit more. In real life, Tim Ballard, who is the the guy who the story is based on, he and his family are practicing Mormons.
Oh.
And I think maybe that might have been something that was maybe in the script a little bit more, and that's
Okay.
maybe why we didn't see a lot of the family.
Okay.
Because it might have had more of that Mormon overtone, Latter-day Saints there. And, maybe they were a bit worried that the Christian or Catholic
Might claim
audiences who are wanting to come to this one might go, I don't know if I'm down with these Mormons.
True.
So they have kept that one under wraps a little bit, and that's fine. It's not a Mormon story.
That's fair then. Yeah.
And it's not like this guy is, holding up, the Book of Mormon and saying, here we go, Joseph Smith, or anything like that in the film.
No.
It is very much a film that recognises, God, recognises the sacredness of kids.
Absolutely.
And recognise those type of things. So I've got no issue around about it there.
No.
Look, overall, one of the strongest points of the film is, some of the performances by the children were absolutely
they
phenomenal.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that really, really knocked me back in my seat is there's a particular scenario, and it's sort of like, it's a bit strange. There's a few different scenarios in the movie. They sort of set up different stings operations.
Yeah.
And it's a linear story, but it sort of pops like a bit of an adventure around the place.
Yeah.
There's one setup that they do. The main thrust of the movie, the central part of the movie, is setting up, let's just call it the island setup, right? And there's some scenarios in there, and I'm watching it going, man, they must have like rolled a few different stories into one for the sake of the movie. This is all a bit over the top. This is a bit silly, as if anything like this would actually go down. And then at the end of the film, they have the security footage of what went down on the real life island.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, it's exactly the same as in the film.
I know. That's what I thought as well. I was like, as if that's a real situation.
Yeah.
No way would that happen. And it
Yes.
actually did.
It really, I was like, oh my goodness, that's really the security footage from what's happening here.
Yeah.
And made me think, it does leave you with some hope. It really does knock you around. It does
Yeah.
leave you some hope. I was hoping for something maybe a little bit more tangible what the average Joe Blow who's watching this, what do we do?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the whole point of this movie, and like at the end, like when the credits are rolling, there's that whole 2-minute, in 2 minutes there's a special message thing. And of course, Jim Caviezel comes up and has a little spiel. Pretty much what the whole movie, the aim of the movie was just to create more awareness of this horrific thing that is going on with children.
Yeah.
Should never happen. But as you said, it has become a very sort of taboo subject that's sort of kept off in the distance, and we're not really. I think they're trying to make it more real to us that this is an actual danger, and it's something that's affecting. It's not just some crazy thing happening overseas. This is going on.
It's happening us here.
Yeah, and it's horrific. I think.
But other than awareness, I was hoping for. Go to this website
Donate
and register,
now,
or contact your politician or something. A little bit more of a grassroots thing, because I think people are getting very riled up about it and going, we want to do something.
Yeah.
But what do we actually do?
Here's how you can get involved or something like that. I hear what you're saying.
Or at least a list of ministries, because we do know Christian ministries in Australia and around the world that do work in this.
So many.
There we go. We're giving it a big recommend. Sound of Freedom is in cinemas now in Australia. It's very soon in the States. I think it's going to be on streaming as well. So get yourself across it. If you haven't seen it yet, we're giving it a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
It's Leah and DJ here on the V180 Pop-In. That's Jet Trouble, I Need You. It's Leah and DJ here saying goodbye on the Pop-In. I'm going to be around for about another hour or so, but Leah, you got to get out of here.
I do, popping out.
Popping in, popping out. Now, if people want more Leah in their life, and get who doesn't?
I know, right?
Where can they find that?
Well, quite easily. You can follow us on any of our social media pages.
Yes.
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
Oh, I have to give a big shout out to our web guys. Finally, on the website, v180.org.au, you can find the links to our social media.
Absolutely. It's all there in one place. Just click on whatever you like.
Yeah.
Or if you want to chat to us, flick us an email.
Oh, love it.
hello@v180.org.au, and I may just reply.
Ooh, how good is that? We would love to hear from you. And if you've heard you've watched The Sound of Freedom, you've heard our review and you go out there and see it, we would love to have your review as well. Leah, I will see you back here next week, and also this coming week we're going to be down on the Gold Coast.
We will be.
Hanging out at the Connect conference.
That's right.
If you're going to be there, make sure you come up and say good day. Right now, this is Becca Shea, Incorruptible, V180.
Vision 180.
Live different.
Different.